This audio was created with text-to-speech software and was not read by a real person. Please keep in mind the limitations of the technology when it comes to pacing and pronunciation. Author's note: this is my take on Dragon Ball, so a lot of things will be different. I'll be using Z continuity, and not so much of Super, but some of Super characters might make an appearance in the story. SI: this is an OC self-insert story. If you have a problem with that, then leave, but I would like it if you gave this story a chance. AU: Saiyan culture will be a little different. If you have problems with it, either ignore it or leave. This goes for any changes to canon. Warning: this story will be dark and might contain lemons in the future. I'm not too sure about lemons. We will see how things play out. Disclaimer: I do not own Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball GT, or any other property. Chapter 1: Ill-timed. Too late. Too late did my memories return, and only surfacing in pieces, in fragmented recollections. Raditz KIA, Nappa KIA, Vegeta KIA. Vegeta, brother, how could you have died on an insignificant, low-level planet? Our reunion was supposed to be the stuff of legends, recorded in the annals of Saiyan history. Too late did I awake from that cryogenic sleep. Too late to tell you the truth. Frieza. It was him. He was behind the destruction of planet Vegeta. We were supposed to avenge our people together. But no, it all rests upon my shoulders. Planet fall on Earth in 3 minutes, the onboard AI announced. Earth. A familiar name. A familiar world. I could feel the pain of remembering my former life. A time when I was human. A time where all this was only fiction. Even though I could remember everything about my life, I could barely remember anything about the world of the anime I now inhabit. Only fragmented pieces that caused tremendous pain to even think upon. The ship shook against the atmosphere. That life was over now, though my existence as a Saiyan sometimes felt like the dream, and my humanity the reality. I would not conduct myself as a human. No. I had been gifted the station of second-born prince of all Saiyans, and I would act accordingly. The ship shuddered violently as fire swallowed the viewing ports. Earth's atmosphere clawed at the hull in streaks of burning orange, the pod groaning as though the planet itself resisted my arrival. I remained seated, unmoved. Let this world tremble before my coming. The onboard AI spoke again, its voice cold and mechanical. Impact in 30 seconds. My tail twitched at my waist. Earth, the grave of my brother, the world that had taken Vegeta from me. Whether by treachery, weakness, or some unforeseen circumstance, it mattered little now. I would drag the truth from this planet's defenders myself if I had to. My fist tightened. Kakarot. Another name surfaced from the fractured depths of my memory. My brother's brother. No, Vegeta's killer, ally. The pieces refused to fit, each attempt sending fresh agony through my temples. Every attempt to force the memories together sent agony spearing through my skull, as though my mind rejected the knowledge. I grit my teeth and endured it in silence. Pain was beneath mention, but there was one thing that was clear. Kakarot. That name. It was most definitely Saiyan. If a Saiyan was responsible for all this, then the traitor must get his due. I'll honor that. Impact in 5, 4, 3. A grin curled across my lips. At last. 2, 1. My pod screamed across the sky like a falling star. Then, boom, the earth erupted beneath me. Stone and soil blasted skyward as the pod carved a crater deep into the ground, shockwaves rolling across the surrounding landscape. Silence followed. Steam hissed from the scorched hull. Then, the hatch burst open. I stepped from the pod slowly, boots crunching against shattered stone as smoke curled around my armor like a cloak. Wind swept through the crater. Before me stretched the blue skies and green fields of Earth. Beautiful. Fragile. Pathetic. My scouter flickered to life over one eye. Power levels detected. Multiple life forms. A smirk spread across my face. So this is the world that felled the Prince of Saiyans. Uzuki, extract all data from any and all scouters. I addressed my personal AI system. I will know what took place on this weak mudball. My gaze sharpened. Then let us see if it is worthy of such an accomplishment. Wukong Hospital, West City. Guys, do you feel that? Krillin's voice cracked as he pointed toward the window, sweat pouring down his face. Gohan stumbled back a step, eyes wide with terror. Maybe even stronger. That's impossible, Yajirobe yelped, his face turning a sickly shade of blue. Krillin killed him. We all saw the sword go right through his chest. He's gone. Goku's expression darkened from his hospital bed. His body was still wrapped head to toe in bandages and plaster casts, one arm in a sling, but his eyes burned with that familiar fighter's fire. Too soon. This is all happening way too soon, he muttered, trying and failing to sit up. A sharp grunt of pain escaped him. I can barely move, but that power, it's Saiyan, no doubt about it. Bulma clutched the railing of the bed, knuckles white, eyes darting between them all. What are we going to do? We barely survived the last one. Goku's hurt, Piccolo, Tane, and Yamcha are, and now another super-powered alien shows up, who most likely wants to destroy the planet. Krillin paced frantically, hands on his bald head. We have to do something. If this guy's as strong as Vegeta, or worse, we can't just wait for him to come find us. He's probably already looking for a fight. Gohan's small fists trembled at his sides. Dad, you can't fight like this. Let me go, I can at least scout and— No way, Gohan, Goku cut in, voice firm despite the pain. You're strong, but you're still a kid. If this Saiyan is anything like Vegeta, he won't hold back. We need a plan. The room fell into a tense silence, broken only by the distant beeping of hospital machines. Outside the window, birds scattered from the trees, as if they too could sense the rising ki in the distance. Yajirobe slumped against the wall, sword propped beside him. Look, I'm all for running away. That's worked pretty well for me so far. We could hide in the mountains. Wait for this guy to get bored. Bulma shot him a glare. Running won't work forever. These Saiyans always find what they're looking for. Remember Raditz? Remember Vegeta? She turned back to Goku, her voice softening just a fraction. Goku, you always have some crazy idea. What are you thinking? Goku closed his eyes for a moment, breathing through the pain. When he opened them again, there was a spark of excitement, mixed with worry. Too late, he's on his way here. Krillin, you and Yajirobe take Bulma and Gohan somewhere safe. Maybe Capsule Corp, I don't know. Somewhere far away from here. Krillin blinked. And you? I'll talk to him, Goku said with a weak grin, even if I have to stand against him crawling. Saiyans respect strength, right? Maybe I can buy time, or convince him we're not enemies. Bulma threw her hands up. You're insane! You can't even stand! Before anyone could argue further, the hospital room's window rattled violently. A low rumble echoed across the city. Something powerful was moving fast. Gohan's tail, still unwrapped from his great ape incident, bristled. He's coming! He's heading straight toward us! Krillin swallowed hard. Too late to run now. Everyone's head snapped toward the door as it was violently slammed open, hinges groaning in protest. A dark-skinned warrior stood in the doorway, his ki filling the room like a storm. A red scouter covered his right eye. He wore form-fitting green and dark purple Saiyan armor, with an advanced arm cannon strapped to his left arm, its barrel still faintly glowing. A jetpack-like thruster unit was integrated into the back of his armor, humming at low power. His purple eyes swept across the group with predatory sharpness, lingering for a moment on young Gohan before locking onto Goku. His Saiyan hair was striking, flat on one side, wildly spiky on the other, with two long bangs framing his face. A sharp goatee sharpened his already intense expression. My name is Jakita von Vegeta, he declared, voice low and regal, carrying the unmistakable weight of royalty. Second Prince of House Vegeta. And you? His gaze narrowed on Goku, a dangerous smirk curling his lips. You must be Kakarot, the one who killed my brother. The room froze. Goku's eyes widened from his hospital bed, pain momentarily forgotten. Your brother? Krillin took a shaky step back, hands raised. Wait, hold on. Vegeta attacked us first. It was self-defense. Bulma's back was pressed against the wall, her face pale. Another one. Of course it's another one. Gohan instinctively moved in front of his father, small fists clenched, tail bristling. Goku nodded slowly, sweat running down his forehead despite the pain. It was me. I killed Vegeta. Let the others go, they had nothing to do with it. Every head in the room snapped toward Goku. Krillin's face turned completely pale. He knew exactly what his friend was doing, sacrificing himself again. Guilt sat heavy in the small warrior's stomach. Jaquita's purple eyes flicked across them all once more, taking in the fear, the bandages, the pathetic cluster of warriors. For a long moment, the only sound was the soft whir of his red scouter tracking subtle movements. Then, unexpectedly, he nodded. Kakarot, he said, voice calm and regal, in accordance with the traditions of our people, for defeating a prince of the Saiyans, you may ask of me one boon. However, because this was outside of ritual combat, your status will not rise, nor will any fief be granted. His smirk sharpened. Instead, I demand the right of Tarball's tail, or you may lay your tail within my hands. Everyone's mouths fell open. Goku cocked his head, looking genuinely puzzled. What's a boon? The entire room almost face-faulted. Krillin slapped a hand over his face. Bulma looked ready to explode. Goku, you idiot, she snapped. A boon means you can ask him for one favor or gift, and he has to grant it. Really? Goku's eyes went wide before turning serious again. Okay then, what's this about tails? I don't have mine anymore. My left eye twitched. The right of Tarball's tail, a low growl escaped me as I fought to keep my patience, is the sacred right to exact vengeance upon the one who slighted you. A tail for a tail. I took another step forward towards Kakarot's broken form. And I was not asking for your literal tail, I said aloud, my voice low and edged with growing irritation. I was demanding your servitude. Swear yourself to me, Kakarot, or die by my hand here and now. These Earthlings are even more absurd than the fractured memories suggested. Another spike of pain lanced through my skull. Flashes of a soft couch, glowing screens, colorful characters fighting in a show I once watched for fun. All of it felt like someone else's dream now. I was Jaquita von Vegeta, second prince, the last royal. The human ghosts had no place here. I shoved the memories down, letting Saiyan pride flood in their place. My tail lashed once behind me. Kakarot, Goku, whatever he called himself, actually looked like he was considering my offer. Not with fear, but with that same stupid curious grin that seemed so familiar to me. It made my blood burn. Well, I pressed, raising my cannon arm slightly. The barrel glowed with charging energy. Choose, low class. Serve the House of Vegeta, or join my brother in the afterlife. Goku stared at me for a long moment from his hospital bed, bandages tight across his broken body. Then, to my surprise, that ridiculous grin spread across his face again, not mocking, but excited, like I had just offered him the fight of a lifetime. Okay, I've got it, he said cheerfully. For my burn, I want 1 year. Give us 1 year before we fight for real. I'm still pretty banged up, and I want to face you at my full strength. No holding back on either side. A proper Saiyan battle, just like your traditions, right? Krillin's jaw dropped. Goku, are you serious right now? Bulma looked like she wanted to smack him with a wrench. You're negotiating with the guy who just threatened to kill you? I lowered my cannon arm a fraction, purple eyes narrowing. 1 year? The request was bold, almost insulting in its casualness. And yet, even though this Saiyan was clearly defective, his Saiyan instincts were still there. It stirred the Saiyan blood in my veins. A worthy opponent who wanted to grow stronger instead of begging for mercy. The fragmented memories flickered again, images of this very idiot grinning. Pain stabbed behind my eyes, but I crushed it. 1 year. I repeated slowly, tasting the words. My tail flicked once. You would delay your death, in hope your power increased enough to defeat me, to make our battle more entertaining? A low chuckle escaped me despite myself. You are either the bravest low class I have ever met, or the most foolish. Very well, Kakarot. I accept your terms for the boon. I took another step closer, and pointed one gloved finger directly at him. But hear me clearly. In 1 year's time, on this exact day, we will settle this under the proper rights. No interference from your weakling friends, no tricks, just you and me, Prince against the low-class mongrel. If you run, or if you are not strong enough, my smirk returned, cold and sharp. I will hunt every last one of them down and finish what my brother could not. Goku gave a firm nod, eyes shining with that same fire I had only seen in blurry memory. Deal. 1 year, and trust me, I'll be a lot stronger by then. Gohan looked up at his father with wide, worried eyes. Dad, are you sure? I'm sure, kiddo, Goku replied softly, then glanced back at me. Hey, Vegeta, you seem different from Vegeta. Maybe after we fight, we can talk about your brother. I didn't enjoy killing him, you know. I felt my eye twitch again. The casual way he spoke of Vegeta's death made my blood boil, yet the offer to talk afterward was strangely disarming. These earthlings truly were bizarre. Save your sentimentality, I snapped, turning toward the broken door. The arm cannon powered down with a low whine. 1 year, Kakarot. Recover well. I expect an entertaining battle. With that, I walked out of the room, the weak, fearful humans quickly scattering out of my way like when I arrived. 1 year. I clenched my fist as I strode down the sterile hallway. The human memories still clawed at the edges of my mind, as if I were missing something of grave importance. I shoved open the door to the stairwell, stepped into the empty shaft, and dropped. My boots shattered the tile floor at the bottom in a thunderous crash. Activating my jetpack, teal flames roared to life as I blasted through the exit doors, effortlessly bypassing the pathetic police cordon outside. In moments I was soaring through the sky, heading back toward my pod. My thoughts lingered on the hospital room, specifically that child with the tail. Kakarot had a son, a boy whose power level would have placed him among the elite warriors back on planet Vegeta. I was both fascinated and disgusted. The low class had gone native and bred with a weak species. Yet the fact that such a union was even possible, it was a marvel. A potential revival for the Saiyan race. No, it would be nothing more than a shadow of our former glory. After I killed Kakarot, I might take the boy as my ward. But this planet, I would burn it for daring to drink the blood of a Saiyan prince and sell its ashes as a waste facility. I landed beside the sleek pod I had stolen from one of Cooler's outposts. Cooler, another adversary I would eventually have to deal with. Jumping inside the car-sized craft, I activated all systems. The engines hummed to life as I took off. A familiar notification chimed in my scouter. Data extraction complete, Uzuki announced. Would you like to review the information? Yes. Power readings, battle logs, and fragmented audio files flooded my vision. I reviewed them in silence as the pod climbed high above the earth. Then the final pieces clicked. Ha, ha 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 ha. Laughter tore from my throat, raw and triumphant. So that was it, brother. Immortality. Toppling Frieza's empire. Eternal glory. The Dragon Balls of Namek are real. I slammed my fist against the console, eyes blazing with excitement. Uzuki, set our course for Namek. Maximum speed. The stars blurred as the pod shot forward, leaving Earth shrinking behind me. The weaklings below could have their year of preparation. I would return far stronger than they could possibly imagine. To be continued.